Hey, Expedition Haynes Brands and Team Champion, it's Jamie Clarke calling. I wanted to give you some news of what's been happening. One of the photos we sent is the spectacular one that Scotty took of Camp 1 cut into the snowy face of Pumori. There's one shot in there as well of our little kitchen area, which is in the vestibule of the tent. About 6 inches from our cook stove is a 3,000-foot drop down into base camp. So it was a cramped and exciting place that we were constantly roped up even when we were sleeping. And it was there that we carried up a small laptop and a handset that allowed us to send photographs back to you to share something of our adventure. It's been an interesting few days on the mountain and, well, actually an interesting season. It's been particularly dry. We've had 3 fantastic weeks of weather, which has its downside, and that is that there's been bright sun every day and no precipitation, no snow. And as a result, the mountain that we were climbing, Mount Pumori, is particularly dry, exposing a lot of rocks, many of which have been falling. Started a couple of days ago when a friend of mine and peak freak guide Tim Ripple was hit by a chunk of ice while sleeping in his tent, broke a rib and injured many others, and so he retreated from the mountain. On that same day, one of his Sherpa climbing members took a small but painful rock to the forehead and gave himself a healthy gouge. Angnam Gal from our team took a rock to the knee, knocked him off his balance, and he strained his back carrying a heavy load. So these 2 teams, the 2 other teams, an Eastern European team and Tim's team, decided the mountain was too dangerous, snow conditions weren't right up high, and they retreated and called their expedition quits. We stayed on the mountain thinking that maybe we could employ a different strategy. And so we decided we would climb at night. Todd thought, hey, when the sun set, the temperatures would drop, things would freeze in place. So we left high camp and chased shadows up the mountain. And soon the sun set, and before we knew it, we were high on the mountain, dressed as warmly as we could, in an eerie sort of situation. Our track was being lit by the moon, the surrounding peaks coming in and out of view. We climbed for as long and as hard as we could, and it stopped making sense. It's just, we always thought we'll go as hard and as high as we can until it stops making sense. And we were just concerned that over the next days, that as the sun rose again, the snow would melt and rocks would begin to fall. And one thing, if we got hurt, and that certainly isn't something that we wanted, but what if one of our Sherpa team members got hurt trying to support us? So as we stood there high on the mountain, staring out at the stars above Everest, the 3 of us sat together in a sober conversation and realized that it was, well, just unsafe to continue. And so in that moment, we called our expedition off. Our high point, somewhere between Camp 1 and Camp 2. It's a bit of a disappointment, but I think we all immediately understood that it was the right decision, for no mountain is more important than your team members and just safety. Because that is, after all, how we play. We play it safe. And so today has been busy. We descended from the high camps carrying heavy loads in our backpacks. Scotty with a backpack full of camera gear and equipment. With the Sherpa's help, we pulled the high camps off. And approaching camp, we were approached by little Cammy, who brought in some much-needed juice because we were tired from the day's effort. So it's been an amazing expedition here in Nepal. We've had a chance to test much of our Champion and Haynes Brands equipment, dual-fold base layer, which performed beautifully. We've had a chance to gel our team and prepare for our upcoming climb of Mount Everest. It's certainly disappointing not to be able to stand upon that lofty summit of Mount Pumori as I've been dreaming for, well, since I first saw it on the North Col in China in 1991. But safety prevails, and it's the round trip that counts. And after all, it's the most important thing is that we came here for adventure. We came here to work hard. We snuck in a little fun. We also came here with agreement among each and every one of us that we would all come home. And so now we're in base camp, our expedition over. And we're looking forward to coming home, and family and friends. We appreciate your following in our adventure, and we'll hope you'll stay tuned. Because ultimately, this isn't about our climbing as much as it is, we hope, about yours, about your Everest, about what lofty summit you hope to reach one day. Well, even though we couldn't reach ours on this trip, know that we won't give up. Because out there somewhere, scoured by wind, veiled by cloud, is a patch of snow that marks the top of the world. And that's where we're going next. The summit awaits, everybody. Let's go to it.